Shalawam, Shalawam, Israel, Shalawam. His brother Uriah want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashima Mashiach, Malak Yahushua. Another strong Shalawam to all of the mighty brothers that go out there and labor on the highways and byways, making their body a living sacrifice. In the rain, the tumults, the demons, the uprises, the uproars, they're out there standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. Another strong Shalawam to all of the mighty brothers that are not out there as of yet, but they're building themselves up, reading, praying, fasting, doing everything they could do to put themselves in a position to shake the hand and wake up the hopeful elect. Another strong Shalawam to all that are mighty aquaf in this thing, that actually sincerely reverence their husbands, being teachers of good things to the children at home, being quiet, shamefaced, submissive, loving, steadfast, cooking, sewing, cleaning, doing all of the righteous acts for our foremothers, on fire for the Lord. Another strong Shalawam to all of the mighty aquaf that are not married as of yet, but they're building themselves up, reading, praying, fasting, doing everything they could do to magnify the Most High in the ministry. Another strong Shalawam to all of the zealous children in this thing, right, abstaining from all lust, concupiscence, and peer pressure, standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. And last but not least, another strong Shalawam to the 12 tribes, scattered abroad, reading, praying, fasting, magnifying the Most High and his beloved Son Yahushua. There's going to be a breakdown and or video through the spirit of Trump's agenda, Vladimir Putin's agenda, Kim Jong-un's agenda, and these world leaders and these politics, as they form the new world, right? And I'm going to dive in, let's not waste any time, right? Give me a strong con if brothers can see the screen. Give me a strong con if brothers can see the screen. Let's get the classic. Let's go to the mighty book of Second Esdras. Let's go to Second Esdras 9, because brothers have to keep watch. We say that week in and week out, you have to keep watch. If you're not keeping watch, you're going to fall asleep. Right, let me get this quick precept. Right? Because Jake only keep watch when it's too late. Right? Jake only keep watch when it's too late. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15, and verse. I'm going to start at, this whole thing's fire. I'm going to start at 7. And I will fan them with the fan in the gates of the land, and I will bereave them of children. I will destroy my people, since they return not from their ways. So the Lord said, look, since you don't want to return back to me, I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to kill you. That's how deep it is when you don't turn back to the Lord, when you're occupied elsewhere, when your mind's all in the clouds, man. You're all in the women, all in the doctrines, philosophies. It says their widows are increased to me above the sand of the sea. That's how many dead bodies the Lord killed, man, from not returning back to the Lord. I have brought upon them, right, against the mother of the young men, a spoiler at noonday. I have caused them to fall upon it suddenly, and terrors upon the city. So the Lord brings terror upon cities, man, for you not keep watching, for you struggling, you getting lost, your mind's elsewhere. You're not occupied in these prophecies, man. And on a deeper level, if you're of this truth and you're of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you will be occupied in these prophecies. No, not because you're a prophet, not because you're just mighty. It's because it's the spirit of Yahushua. You'll bear witness to look for Yahushua, looking for fires, looking for world storms, looking for earthquakes, looking for disasters, looking for bombs hitting the earth, looking for civil wars, looking for policies being signed. That's all an indication that you're looking for your king. So how could you be bored at that? How could you get lost at that? How could you lose track of that, man? At the end all be all, this is the end of the movie. Let me get this quick precept. Let's go to the mighty book, right, of Second Esdras. Right? Get this quick precept. Chapter 7. And I want to start at verse number 43. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time. That's what we're looking forward to, man. The day of doom, destruction. It says, and the beginning of immortality. So doom, destruction, death, all of this has to come to pass before you can have immortality. For it to come wherein corruption is past. And we're looking for corruption to be past, man. But in order to do that, you have to measure the times. We're commanded to measure the times. This Second Esdras chapter 9 in verse number 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. What does that mean? That's a commandment. That's not something to do for fun or, something that's just, the Lord just said it, man. Let's see who will do it. It's the book of Mark. Let me get this quick precept. Chapter 32. It's like chapter 13 and verse 32. But that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. Take ye heed. That's a commandment. Take ye heed, meaning what? Perceive. Take heed, take the warning, take the admonishment. Watch and pray. These are the days we're living in. If you didn't know, say a brother stumbled into this truth. He came across the video. He didn't really know what was going on. Right? It was his first time, cutting it on. He don't really perceive how deep this is. If you're just tuning in to this truth, if you need a wake-up call, if you're just in a spirit of slumber, brother, now's the time to watch and pray. Those are the times we're living in right now. The time of prayer, fasting, the time of faith, and a time of watching. For ye know not when the time is. And brothers actually are asleep as if they knew when the time is. So you can afford to take a nap when you know you have to wake up at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. You can afford to set, your reminder for 30 minutes. It may very well be 4 o'clock. You may look at the time and say, well, you know what? I got an hour to spare. I could take a nap. You don't even know the time when all hell is going to break loose to the point where it makes its way to Babylon and overthrows this grid, this power line of food and pestilence, and that you don't know your right hand from your left. So you have no business or in a mind frame as of now to not be watching, man, because you don't know when the time is. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants and to every man his work, and commanded, I'm going to read that again, and commanded the porter to watch. If you're a servant, and the servants are the prophets, the servants are them that do the will of Yahweh in the name of his son Yahweh Shah, then by command, you have to keep watch, man. Right? Let me finish that in second address. It says, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, right, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. I mean, you can calculate this, move that, understand policies being formed, and you say, you know what? This is the end all be all. Therefore, when they shall be seen earthquakes, it was just an earthquake, a 5.0, man, 2 days ago in Greece. You have to keep watch, man. It was a blood moon at least 3 to 4 times back to back to back. You're cooped up in the house, you work from home. As soon as you get off from work, you don't look up to the heavens, you go into your house. Man, go outside, get some fresh air, meditate, man. Look at the signs. Be in communication with like-minded brothers that can sing you these things to keep you on fire, man. Watch these videos. The Most High is having a blood moon, which is pitch dark red for no apparent reason, man. He's showing you throughout the four corners of the earth these things that are coming to pass. Uproars of the people, right, in the world, then thou shalt well understand. See, in verse 2, it says, then shalt thou understand. But in verse 4, it says, then shalt thou well understand. So the more you watch, the more what? You'll well perceive. You'll well understand. The more these pieces of this puzzle, it's going to start linking up more and more, and it gives you anticipation. It gives you a spirit of looking forward to something, man. Now, when you know your mom, when you were a kid, or your wife maybe now is cooking, you anticipating that roast, man. You anticipating how the food going to taste. You anticipating your check. You anticipating certain things, right, after the sun go down, right, for you to enjoy your night with your wife. You anticipate these things. The same well through the spirit, it's like a revive and a jump, man. For brothers that labor, and I'm going to get this real quick before we dive into it. For brothers that labor, I can't speak for all brothers that go out on the highways and byways, but for me, it's like somebody jumped my battery, man, seeing brothers bring out precepts, seeing the enemy get cut down, seeing new precepts come out, man. It's like I get a jump, man. When I see this world destruction and all hell breaking loose, it's like a spiritual jump, man. And not that brothers are dead, but through the cares of this life, the suffering thereof, you choose to lose focus a lot of the times, man. You get on autopilot mode while you're driving. You don't perceive you even in traffic, or that an 18-wheeler is beside you. It's a jump of an awakening. It says that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So from generation to generation, the Lord has been speaking about these things over and over and over. One of the main things that's really going on right in the earth, right, is a new world order that's about to be formed, or trying to be formed rather. Now the United States, right, on a deeper level has already entered into a new world order, right? For brothers that have ears to hear, in 1776. And we can dive into that through their craftiness. They have implemented a new world order right after the First and Second World War. For brothers that understand or know about it or not, they have segued through craftiness into a new world order. So you don't have to think, these conspiracy theorists and a lot of men, you say, well, these are the days of the Antichrist. And it's going to be a new world order, man. There are many Antichrists. The new world order is forming now and has already been. So you can't let these devils, these conspiracy theories, these bug outs, and a bunch of other things teach you. You have to watch the beast of the field, man. Did not the Lord tell you to watch the beast of the field, man? It's not just talking about rabbits and squirrels, man. It's talking about these nations on a deeper level too. You got to stalk the eagle. You got to stalk the fox, man. You got to figure out their tactics, their movements, their spirit, right? Let me get this quick precept. It's the mighty book of Job, right? Chapter 12 and verse number 7. But ask now the beast, and they shall teach thee, man. Right? And these devils, through their craft, you watch how they move, man. They always coming out at night. That's spiritual. The Lord said the beast of the earth creep forth in the nighttime. Paraphrasing great. Let me get that quick precept. And this is all spiritual. Right? Let me get this quick precept and link that up. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 104. So in the nighttime, they're having councils, meetings, they're forming legislative branches, they're forming all of these craft to prosper in their hand. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 104 and verse 20. Thou makest darkness, and it is night, wherein all the beasts of the forest do creep forth. What do they creep forth to do? Mischief, right? This is a physical level, but the scriptures are double to that which is. So you ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air. Who are the fowls of the air, man? Esau. He's the one that seeth all things on the left-hand side, and they shall tell thee, right? And they're telling. The earth is speaking, man. If you didn't know, the earth is speaking. It's being opened. These things are coming to life. It's coming to pass, man. And you can't be asleep. Right? Let me get this quick precept. Right? This is the mighty book, right, of Psalms, chapter 82, right, in verse number 5. They know not, right, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. Again, these are the beasts. These are the nations. They walk forth in the darkness because they know not the light. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. Everything is out of course. Now, the natural course of the earth is to be ran by Israel under Yahweh Bashem Yahushua with your righteous judges and the kings with the implementation of the laws, statutes, and commandments. But now the earth is out of course because it's ran by craft. Policies that change. The Most High laws don't change. And these things overthrow, right, the inhabitants thereof. I'm going to get this real fast. Right? Now it says Trump speaks at Museum of the Bible about religion, liberty, and education. Right? And I'm going to get this, and I'm going to see if brothers will be able to hear it. Right? Give me 1 second. All right, brothers may not be able to hear it. Give me a strong count if you can hear it. Right? I'm going to have to dive into this. Bear with me. get this. Bear with me. Okay, come.
Right now in Washington, D.C., President Donald Trump is giving a speech at the Museum of the Bible on Religious Liberties in Public Education. His remarks come during the second meeting of his White House Religious Liberty Commission.
If you don't know, Trump is trying to push the narrative in all schools across America to push prayer and religion back in schools. So, I mean, that's a part of his craft. His craft is to forcify and push, right, and mandate these things to come to pass in these schools. And what is that going to do? That's going to corrupt the minds of the youth of the Israel, man. Already when you was younger, they made you pledge allegiance. They made you put your right hand across your chest, your heart, and pledge, which is make a vow to a false god, man. Right? To the 50 states and 13 colonies, which you have really stole and murdered and colonized and destroyed, right? The Native American Indians and the Seminole Indians, man. So you have already falsified and implemented from the time I've been in school. How much more the craft that they're trying to bring about now, man? They're trying to teach Christianity in schools, and they're trying to have a prayer to be pushed, man. Who's going to be praying over you, man? An old white woman, man. An old white woman. Right? That's a teacher, man. Right? You want an old white woman praying, right, over your children. Let me get this real fast, right? I'm gonna get this real fast. You don't want an old, nasty white woman, right, praying over your damn children, man. That'll be madness. You don't want her praying for your children. I remember I was in fourth grade, man. I think her name was Miss Riggs. She had a long ruler. She was a fat, nasty old white woman. She had a long ruler, man. And if you did anything out of line, it was like Matilda, man. If you did anything out of line, she would take out that ruler and she'll pop you on the hand, man. They used to beat us in school. You don't want this woman, this devil, praying and vowing God knows what into your children, man. And that's what happened when these devils are in charge, right? But I want to play this real quick, right? I want to play this real quick. Bear with me.
And a reminder for our viewers, the president created that commission in May through an executive order where he blamed federal, state, and local policies for endangering the United States tradition of religious liberty.
Let's rewind that. He's pushing bills to force religion in schools. Let me read that again.
The second meeting of his White House Religious Liberty Commission. And a reminder for our viewers, the president created that commission in May through an executive order where he blamed federal, state, and local policies for endangering the United States tradition of religious liberty in recent years.
This morning to discuss the grave threats to religious liberty in American schools. And you know what's going on. We all know what's going on. But I will tell you, a lot of progress has been made in the last 8 months. Tremendous progress, more than I thought we could make in so many ways. Not only that, the woke agenda is practically gone. It's deep-seated. We have to make sure it's out.
He's pushing all of the agendas out that he could falsify his agenda. Right? That's what he's trying to do.
Very bad. It's like a weed. You think you killed it, and then it starts growing again. So we have to be careful. But it's very, very different than it was. You look at West Point, how proud they are of their heritage. They did something this week which I thought was appropriate. Some of you know.
Let's go live to the White House and CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi. Olivia, thank you for joining us today. What else has the president talked about so far in his speech?
Well, Mugo, it's good to be with you. Yeah, President Trump there at the Museum of the Bible talking about religious liberty. The things he's talking about.
The Museum of the Bible. Who owns the Museum of the Bible? Esau. They have all of the relics. They have all of the scripts, the manuscripts. They have all of these things. That's why they're keeping it from you, that they may teach the narrative. It's nothing different than slavery.
They spoke about earlier in the program students who say that they experienced some bias and pushback from their schools because of their Christianity and their faith. A lot of kids were up on the stage earlier today in that program detailing their experiences. President Trump speaking out against that at the Museum of the Bible. He also announced that he has given his family Bible, which had been used during his inauguration, during the first one in 20.
Now, if you didn't know, Trump has his own Bible, the family Bible. Right? Brothers don't know. You can look that up.
17 and the latest one. He's donating that to the Museum of the Bible to be on display. But as you mentioned, this comes as the president is having his second meeting of his Religious Liberties Commission. This is a group that he put together through the
Liberty in Education, the Bible on religious liberty in education. He's pushing his narrative, and he's bringing back in a strong way Christianity, which really goes back to the first council of Nicaea on a deeper level when you go into that history. I'm not going to, dive into that as a lesson, but I did the first and second council of Nicaea in the breakdown on the Cold Cuts channel. And it really formed, after, they tried to shut down Christianity for a season to push a greater, bigger agenda. And that's exactly what's going on here, right? And I'm going to get this quick precept, right? I'm going to get this quick precept. That's exactly what's going on. See, they're trying to push that, right, that they may have reign over all of what's going on in the earth on a deeper level. Let's go to the book of Habakkuk. This is the mighty book of Habakkuk, right, chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse number 11. Then shall his mind change. So man minds change. The kings of the earth, their mind changes. That's why when you actually go into it, which we're going to dive into about New World Order, how things change, how they shift, how they implement different religious policies over the years, and how that corrupts the nation. Then shall his mind change, and he shall pass over and offend, imputing his power unto his God. So I'm going to read that again. Then shall his mind change. Every nation has an ancient spirit. The Moabites have their ancient spirit, their ancient customs, their ancient heritage. So does Esau, man, a man to the field. So does Ishmael. Everybody has that ancient spirit. You have an ancient spirit. You have to stir that up, man. Our forefathers prophesied it for hours. Well, we're a people of the Most High, meaning we live, breathe, drink, eat, and fight. Everything in us is the Most High. We're made in his image. So the same way, you have to stir that up to prophesy and study these devils, man. It say he imputes power unto his God. Meaning these nations, they have their own gods, man. And their own gods is really of the flesh, right? It's of God. It's of gold. It's of Satan. Right? Look what Trump said, man. Look at this real quick. I'm going to charge this real fast. And I'm going to show this quick video, this quick clip, how he imputes, and he's looking that all nations are under one, right? That's what he's trying to push, right? See if I can get this real fast.
And under the Trump administration, we're defending our rights and restoring our identity as a nation under God. We are one.
Restoring our identity. It says restoring our identity. So the same way you're in the midst of waking up, right? Coming back to the Most High, changing off your old garments, prophesying, picking up these things. They're stirring up that old, ancient, wicked spirit, man. See, now, you just look at Esau as, just somebody you hate at work, man. Or you haven't really witnessed his wickedness on a high level. You've seen it through history. You've seen it through slavery, but it's going to resurface, right? It says he's trying to make one nation and all people one.
Nation under God, and we always will. And under the Trump administration, we're defending our rights and restoring our identity as a nation under God. We are one nation under God, and we always will.
Isn't that the same thing that, let me get this quick precept, man. Isn't that the same thing that the Greeks said, right? Unto Antiochus, right? let me get this quick precept, man. Right, let me get this quick precept. That's the same thing that these devils say. Let me go to First Maccabees, chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse number 40. It says, I'm going to start at 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Meaning what? He wrote it out the same way Trump is moving. He's moving in the spirit of an ancient old king, an ancient old Edomite. He may very well be one of these Edomites back on earth, man. It says, and everyone should leave his laws. When you leave your laws, you leave your heritage. That's why it's one nation, because everybody has their own nation. So when you leave your laws, you could become one nation because you all believe the same thing. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. And all of the heathens, they agreed, man. Right? And that what did that do, man? They had coons that overthrew the whole nation. And really on the deepest level, man, it had the destruction of our people. Now I want to touch on this about, like I said, the New World Order and just diving into that history, right? This is New World Order, right? It says general use pre-Cold War. During the 20th century, political figures such as Woodrow Wilson and Winston Churchill used the term New World Order to refer to a new period of history characterized by a dramatic change in world politics. So to really get the definition of a New World Order is not, the Antichrist, man. Somebody comes up and he's finally here, and then somebody bangs a gavel and everything changes. No, things change behind closed doors. Literally, the definition of it is a dramatic change in world politics, right? And in global balance of power. After the World War I and World War II. So literally after World War I and World War II, they already issued a new world order. Whether brothers even knew that or not, man. You're entering into this and we're already in it, which is going to be subject to change through their own policies, which they formed in the Constitution, which we have that pulled up as well. Now look at this, right? The two Latin phrases associated with the pyramid on the back of the US dollar bill are anahu apis, right? Meaning he has favored our undertaking, right? And it says, and novice ordo shashalum, pronounced na ovus or ra ashakurum, meaning a new order of the ages. Now, again, when you look at the back of a dollar bill, which a lot of brothers have already done, this was issued and created and pushed after the freedom under the British in the 1700s, 1776 is where you get this at the bottom, these Roman numerals, right? And again, all of this is in Latin, which is the dead language, right? And these Roman numerals, and you have 13 levels, which are the brick of the pyramid. When you actually go into it, those are classified and looked at as the 13 colonies. And the infrastructure of the all I, right, that sees all, which is really he has favored us. That I is really the he, which is the God of this world, which is Satan, right? Now, who is he, man? It says he had favored us. Who is the he? Now, when you actually go into it and look it up, their own, verbiage, they say that he is God, right? He hath favored us. Let me get this real quick. Right? He hath favored us, favored our undertaking. That he is Satan because he's the God of this world. Let me get this quick precept, man. Let's go to the mighty book of 2 Corinthians. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 4. And I'm going to start at verse number 4. It says, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them, so that he that they're speaking about is the God of this world, which is Satan, man. You actually have a God of this world. You have a man set up on the left-hand side. You can read about that in Psalms 109. He standeth at the right hand of Satan, man. Let me get that real fast. Which in context is talking about Judas Iscariot and Satan, but in the spirit, it's most definitely talking about the so-called white man. This is Psalms 109 and verse number 5. And they have rewarded me evil for good and hatred for my love. Set thou a wicked man over him. So you have somebody on earth that the Lord is saying to set a wicked man over him and let Satan stand at his right hand. So there's a nation on this earth that whatever they do, they set their hand to, Satan is at their right hand with all their actions. You know, your hand is your strength and your power. And again, on a deeper level, your hand does what? It signs documents. It writes bills. Right? So this is manyfold, man. And he stands at his right hand to manipulate and move him. Said the God of this world have blinded them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Yahweh Shai, who is the image of God, shall shine into them. So you actually have a God of this world. And again, it says he had favored us, right? And the meaning of new, right, order of the ages. Now look at this. He had favored us. What does that mean? A higher power, often understood as the providence of God, huh? Or God, has approved and has supported the efforts. Who are they to say that the Most High approves their efforts, man? That's blasphemy. That's a bald-faced, wicked lie and blasphemy. Right? This is Job chapter 13 and verse 7. Will ye speak wickedly for God and talk deceitfully for him? So that's saying on the back of this dollar, right? Again, and it's all decoded, but it's really plain at the end of the day. Same way these parables. These parables are hard to perceive and understand, but yet, like the Lord said, they're stumbling blocks to the wicked and plain unto the holy, right? On a deeper level. So you really could see this devil, how he moves, right? That he lays everything out for the men of the Lord to search out. It says, will you speak wickedly for God and talk deceitfully for him, huh? That's exactly what he's doing. He's talking deceitfully. The Most High never said these things. A higher power, often understood as the providence or God, right? Approved and supported the efforts and beginnings of America, caused and formation of the nation. Look at this. Now, again, for brothers that can see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, which again go into the 13 colonies. You have this, which is decoded in the Latin, which are Roman numerals. And when you count the Roman numerals, just like you count the Greek, just like you count the Hebrew, every word, right, and or number rather, makes up. Let me get this real quick. Let's not talk about it. Let's be about it. You have a Latin number counting system, the same way you do in the Greek, right? The same way you do in the Hebrew, right? So you would look at these and you would count. That's why these numbers are here. And when you actually count them and go into it, it's 1776, right? Let me get this real quick. Let me go back to that. Where we at? Okay, come, right? The Roman numeral, right? MDCCLXXVI represents the number 1776. It is calculated by adding the values of each symbol. So again, just like the Lord speaks about when you read the book of Revelation, let he that have wisdom count the number, paraphrasing greatly. You have to count the number in the Greek to find the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is not easily to be found. It's not a barcode, man. Right? You don't just say, well, swipe your right hand. It's not that simple. That's why the Lord said, he that have wisdom. Let me get this real quick. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and 18. Here is wisdom. Why is it saying here is wisdom? Because you have to decode something. It's deeper than the surface level. You got all of these different movies like What's that movie with that Edomite, man? With that Indiana Jones, man. Indiana Jones. Right? Let me get this real fast. And this devil, he goes on different hunts and different things, solving puzzles and ancient relics. He's moving this around. He's twisting this. He's knocking 3 times. He's put in a code, and he's done certain things to get a reaction to decode different things to find gold and treasure, man. Right? And you can look at that in certain movies and different things like that. But let me go back to it. Right? It's the book of Revelation. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. So the beast has a physical number. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So the same way you would look at this, because things are hidden in plain sight. Again, you have New World Order, right? He approves of us. 1776. A pyramid which represents strength and bondage at the same time, right? Where it's founded for its strength and structure, and the bondage, that's the backbone of this society. In 1776, right? Which they have scribed out. The M is 1,000, DCC, 500, 100, 100, and 700, all the way till you get, again, 1776. And why is 1776 important? What does this have to do with anything? Again, diving into a new world order, all of this makes sense because it's right in plain sight. Let me get this quick precept. Let's go to the mighty book of Judith. It's the book of Judith, chapter 3, and verse number 8. Yet he did cast down their fortresses and cut down their groves, right? For he had decreed it to destroy all the gods of the land, right? Now, this is Nebuchadnezzar. What does this mean on a deeper level? Looking at anybody in charge, they have to destroy all the gods of the land. And the gods of the land could very well be your God, man. Now, they can't destroy the Most High or stop this work, but the mind of a king is to destroy everything that everybody may serve him. Everybody may bow down to his philosophy, his doctrine, his way of thinking, his ideologies. It says that all nations should worship Nebuchadnezzar only. That's why it says one nation under God. Now, they say that so eloquently, right? And make it to where it's not so vulgar, right? Like it was in Daniel, the 3rd chapter, man. If anybody doesn't bow down after the substry, right, the substrate, and all of the different things, he'll be thrown in the furnace. It's not written that way, man. All delicate, right? It says all nations should worship Nebuchadnezzar only, and that all tongues and tribes should call upon him as God. That's the same spirit these ancient kings, right, moved in is what Trump is moving in. Again, he's forcefully putting religion in the schools, which religion is a face of what? It's the face of the Most High. He's the president of the United States. He's the face of the nation, which a lot of people look up as God. He's the one that writes these decrees, fortify, become one nation under who? Under God. Who's God? His God. They destroy all other gods out of the land, break down everything that you may serve him and worship them as God. Let me get this quick precept in Daniel, right? Let me get this quick precept in Daniel. Let's go to Daniel chapter 11, and I'm going to start at verse, so the thing is far. Start at 36. And the king shall do according to his will, right? And that's exactly what these presidents do. They do according to their mind and their will. And he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god. That's the same thing that Nebuchadnezzar was doing. So these Greeks, right, these Babylonians, right, these Americans, they all move in that same spirit because everybody covets power. They covet authority, right? They cover preeminence. It says, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till indignation be accomplished. For that is determined shall be done. neither shall he regard the God of his fathers. So all of these Americans, they have turned their back on the ancient Greeks, on Zeus, Pallades, and all of these ancient gods, man. Nor desire women, nor the desire of women, because they're homosexuals and sodomites, nor regard any God. So the same thing again, they're not regarding any gods. They have one agenda and one agenda only, and that's to push a new world order. New meaning beginning of, order meaning something that they have established. And I'm going to dive deeper on what that actually means. For he shall magnify himself above all. That's exactly what they do. They magnify themselves above all. Now, this is the Declaration of Independence in 1776. Now, this is what they say in their own declaration. Again, you have to find these things out, man. That's why it was such a big deal in ancient Egypt, right? Well, not necessarily ancient Egypt, but Egypt during Alexandria, during the time where they had the scrolls, they had the libraries, they had the scrolls of Ephesus and Alexandria and all these diverse places where men would go up. The school Tyrannus, right in the book of Acts. Men actually went up to that school. When you do the history, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Had how many people? Let me see how many books. Look this up real quick. Okay, let's see what we can find about this school. It's in the Bible. Right, it says the school of Tyrannus was not a formal institution, but a public lecture hall in Ephesus where the Apostle Paul taught daily for 2 years, being rejected by a local synagogue, right? It says, rented from a man named Tyrannus, whose background was a philosopher teacher, right? An owner of the venue, right? Now, again, when you actually go deeper into this, I don't got the links pulled up, but they had thousands of people coming in and out of this school, right? You actually going into it. They got thousands of people and they have books, and this was a big deal coming to this school. So we're living in the days where you can search those things out, man, right? Now, the Declaration of Independence, 1776, it says, let me get this real quick. Zoom in a little bit. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, right? And that's in itself hypocrisy. That they are endowed by the Creator with certain, right, unalienable rights that are among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, right? It says that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government. That's written all the way from 1776, man. So they could create a new government. Again, government goes into powers, authorities, new meaning the beginning of. So don't think that, this is something that is a new world order and this is a big deal and it's happening to a specific date. You link this up with that. It happened because of this policy. No, they already written this hundreds of years ago. And again, it's right in front of your face. They said to institute a new government. And they can institute a new government on the left-hand side, man. Right? That's exactly why you have these bills being passed and ran, all to push on a deeper level to destroy and kill and stop the work of the Lord. Right, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, and verse number 1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness, which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless, man. So woe meaning destruction unto them that describe, that write out unrighteous and wicked decrees. Let me get this quick precept in Second Esdras. Right, let's go to second Esdras. That's the same thing that happened, right, during the Roman Empire when it collapsed. A reformation, a rebirthing. Let's go to second Esdras chapter 12. Second Esdras chapter 12 in verse number 18. That after the time of that kingdom, there shall arise great strivings, and it shall stand in the pearl of falling. So when a kingdom strives and it stands in a great pearl of falling and all of these different things, we actually going into it. Brothers did a breakdown of second Esdras 11 and 12, going into the Roman Empire in its proper context and the 12 feathers. But in the spirit, you have many kingdoms that strive, right? They don't stand. They go back and forth. And it shall stand in peril of falling. Nevertheless, it shall not then fall, but shall be restored again to its beginning. That's the spirit of Esau, to restore, to bring about. That's why the Lord said, they shall build, but I will throw down. Thus saith the Lord, man. Let me read that again. That after the time of that kingdom, there shall arise great strivings, and it shall stand in the peril of falling, right? Nevertheless, it shall not fall, then fall, but shall be restored again to its beginning. That's the spirit of a new world order, man, right? Let me get this real fast. It says, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness, right? Like I said, we're not going to read this whole thing, right? It says, would delegate that governments long established should not be changed for light. And again, when you read this, I charge brothers to kind of look this up, dive into these things. Let me get the book of Psalms, chapter 36. And I wanted to touch on, too, why this is important, because Vladimir Putin just came out about his agenda for New World Order. Because you can't have two powers brewing up all at the same time, three powers brewing up all at the same time. Everybody's fighting, right, for the seat of global power and global war. Let me get this real fast in the mighty book, right? Let me get this real fast. Psalm chapter 36. In verse number 2, right? I'm going to start at verse 1. The transgression of the wicked saith within my heart that there is no fear of God before his eyes. For he flattereth himself in his own eyes until his iniquity be found to be hateful. The words of his mouth are iniquity, right, and deceit. He have left off to be wise and to do good, right? He deviseth mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. Again, these are the attributes of the wicked, man. In his mouth, there's nothing but lies, deceit, mischief. He abhors the right and good way. When you actually going into it too, right? Russia, they want a new world order, right? It says undermining the cohesive and enlargement of the EU and NATO is part of Moscow's desire to enhance its status as a great power, right? So they're trying to enhance and grow themselves to be a straight big power, right? To come up against the United States, right? Global Summit, I'm going to dive into this real quick. Addressing a roundtable of some 30 nations, Putin told gathered BRICS members and guests that their countries share similar ambitions, values, and a vision for a new democracy world order. So they're trying to have their own world order, their own thought process. You understand, to cut out America. And again, when you actually going into it, for brothers that know, China just had assimilation where they had all of their soldiers come out and they were all marching, right? And they had Russia out there. They had all of these different, their kings of the East out there, and they didn't invite the United States, right? So that, they're showing their strength. Says he lambasted Western nations for upholding global wealth, goods, even concept the human rights, climate change, and democracy. BRICS nations already make up some 45% of the world's population and some 35% of global economic output, most of it from China, right? It says Russia has framed the dynamic as proof that BRICS represent an emerging global majority, one collectively more powerful than the West and ready to flex its economic and political muscle against the United States and its European allies. The catch, many may agree they're not all it's like agree Moscow these days. Now, we're not going to read this whole thing. But again, this is Vladimir Putin's spirit. This is his mind. This is him gearing up, right? Now, if brothers didn't know or look into, you got Vladimir Putin really coming out to play God, man, right? He's trying to play the Most High and Kim Jong-un, right? Jinping, right? Let me get this quick precept. Right, let's go to 2 Thessalonians, right, chapter 2, and I'm going to start at verse number 4. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, and showing himself that he is God. Now, again, Vladimir Putin, he's coming out, and this is starting to be, a big deal in these Eastern powers and leaders for organ transplants. Now, I know you may have heard like the Rothschilds doing it. Was that really an actual thing? Certain other kings do it. They were harvesting, organs, drinking baby blood. That's been like, said under breaths for a while. But they're coming out in BBC News, man. A credible, really source, as well as other credible sources, that they're really coming out verbally and saying that they're harvesting organs. Right? Let me say this. Let me bring this up. Organ transplants for immortality. Right? Might Ching and Putin be on to something? Or what does it mean? Are they going to be on to something? Their mind state is to live forever. To live another, they want to live, I believe, when you actually go into it, the different links and different things like that in the news, they say you can live up to 130, 150, if I'm not mistaken, by harvesting organs. And nobody actually knows how old these devils really are, man. Right? It says it is possible to become immortal with the hope of organ transplants. That was an unexpected topic of discussion this week between Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin when they met at the military parade in Beijing. This is what these devils, these leaders of the world are talking about, right? And I'm going to pull up this and prove it, right? Let me get this real quick for brothers that don't know, that didn't see. They're coming out and they're being bold with their wickedness. Right? It was under wraps. It was in councils. It was behind closed doors. Now they're just blatantly coming out, through their wickedness and proclaiming it, right? And I'm going to pull this up. If you could bear with me. See if I can pull this up. So, that's not what I want. So, bear with me. See if I can get this.
At a military parade in Beijing this week, what was supposed to be a display of power.
Right, was supposed to be a display of power. What are y'all talking about in there, man? How many babies you can harvest? How many organs you can steal? What dead bodies do you have for me? They can't just be talking about war too much. They meet every day like their boyfriends, man. Like their boyfriend and girlfriend. Always shaking each other's hand, always smiling each other's faces, man. How many phone conversations can you have? You're going to push the button, man. You know what they're really talking about now.
Turned into an unusual moment between two world leaders. A live microphone picked up Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin talking about organ transplants, biotechnology, and
biotechnology. Again, bio, the study of life, and technology, right, going into intelligence, right? Whether they putting these things in these chips and or microorganisms and whatever they're doing, they have too much money to just be buying all of these different weaponry, man, right? It's deeper than that.
Even immortality. Through translators, she remarked that people today often consider 70 still a child. Putin responded that with enough medical advances, humans might grow younger with age and even achieve immortality.
And this is them playing God. These are these nations playing God. You don't have the power, nor the might, nor the understanding to even know your days, right? You don't know that the Most High may have you set for 75, 82, even 91 for you to give up the ghost. You can't supersede and go past that. The Lord said, watch at one time, right? Let me get this quick precept. I'm going to come back to this, right? I'm going to get this quick precept, right? And I'm going to come back to that. Let's go to the mighty book, and I'm going to hold this. Let's go to the mighty book of Job. All right, this is the mighty book of Job, chapter 14. And I'm going to start at verse number 5. Seeing his days are determined. So the Lord has showed you and proved to you that the days of man and Esau are determined by the Heavenly Father. Did not the Lord was going to give up the ghost of Hezekiah, man? But then he turned back the dial and gave him more life. The Most High may very well have done that to you. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Lord said you can't pass these bounds. No matter how much you try to play God or try to be the Most High. When you go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 46, it shows that. It proves that. Let's go to Jeremiah, chapter 46. And let's read verse 10. For this is the day of the Lord God of hosts, a day of vengeance, that he may avenge him of his adversaries. And the sword shall devour, meaning destroy, kill, and it shall be a stitch, right, and made drunk with their blood. For the Lord God, right, of hosts have a sacrifice in the north country by the Euphrates River, right, going into, the battle of Carchemish, right, but again, diving into the true north country, which is America, by the Euphrates, where those spirits are bound, ready for destruction in World War III. Check this out. Go up into Gilead and take balm. Balm is an ancient way of healing, right? O virgin daughter of Egypt, in vain shalt thou use many medicines, for thou shalt not be cured. Lord said, in vain you should use many medicines. What does that mean, man? In vain you should do transplants. In vain you should play doctor. In vain should you have pharmaceutical industries and think medicines, new pills, new all of these different things, man. Right? The Lord said, look, in vain shall thou use medicine. Why? Because he's going to kill you. He's going to destroy you, man. Last time I read, the Lord's going to call together the kings of the east to reverence him, meaning they're going to be forced to submit and do his will. Last time I read, the Lord said he has a brit in the horse's mouth, causing them to err, right? Meaning making them move to the way he wants to, right? Let me go back to that, right? So, I mean, they're just coming out and saying they're harvesting organs. Who are doing this? The elite are, right?
Take a look.
Look, Vladimir Putin's translated, human organs can be continuously transplanted. And you're not doing this, for a brother that, has his liver failure. He needs help. He went to the physician in meekness and humbleness. They're doing this to live forever. Again, it says caught on hot mic. The Most High exposed it. Putin mused on 150-year lifespan at Beijing parade. Right, the longer you live, the younger you become and even achieve immortality. Some predict that in this century, humans may live up to 150 years old.
Putin later confirmed the exchange to reporters, saying modern medical methods give humanity reason to hope life can be extended far beyond today's limits. That conversation quickly trended online inside China, at least until searches for 150 years were censored on the Chinese social media platform Weibo. On other platforms, the comment spread widely, and at least one company used the moment to promote healthcare services. The hot mic exchange came as Xi and Putin walked with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un during a parade marking the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. The event showcased China's latest missile and drone technology. Xi and Putin, both 72, often describe their alliance as a no-limits partnership, and this rare, candid conversation about longevity showed how an unscripted moment can steal the spotlight from even the most carefully staged state event. For more of our unbiased straight fact reporting, download the Straight Arrow News app today or log on to san.com.
See that?
At a military,
and that goes to their mind, how they're trying to prolong, right, their nation, how they're trying to live and be forever. Right? Let me get this quick precept. Let me get the classic. Right? The Lord said their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. Right? Well, many generations, paraphrasing greatly. Let's get that real fast. Let's go to the mighty book, right, of Psalms, chapter 11 and verse 49 and verse 11. Their inward thought is, and you may just think, this book is just racist. Maybe they're not that wicked. Damn, why does it talk about them being so wicked? All I see is a smile on their face. All I see is him just firing me from a job, or, maybe he's not that bad, man. The Lord make manifest these scriptures. If their inward thought is that the house shall continue forever, that's really what they think. The Lord said they cannot get sleep upon their bed unless they do mischief. A lot of J can't go to sleep unless they get high. Until they rob, steal, or people got spirits on them, man. But how much more those that were created to be wicked, man? Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names, man. So the Lord is telling you and showing you through the Spirit, the Lord has made a bound they cannot pass. Let's get the book of Job, chapter 26. This is Job, chapter 26, in verse, right, number 8. He bindeth up the waters in his thick cloud. I mean, how much more man? The Most High bindeth up waters. He puts a barrier where waters can't pass, no matter how much the current is, how much is rocking in the ocean, no matter what's going on. And the cloud is not rent under him. He holdeth back the face of his throne, right? Meaning it's in secret. And spreadeth his cloud upon it, right? Meaning upon the firmament. He hath compassed the waters with bounds. On a deeper level, the waters are nations, right? You can read about that in the book of Psalms, chapter 63, and verse number 3, right? Whether they be physical waters or whether they be spiritual, talking about the nations, the Lord has bounded up the waters, man. So, I mean, no matter what you think or know, they can't pass. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 93 and verse 3. The floods have lifted up. Oh Lord, the floods have lifted up their voice. The floods lifted up their waves. So Lord said, look, I bound up the floods. I bound up the waters until the day and night come to an end, to where he wants to, man. He does what he wants to. The pillars of heaven tremble, and they are astonished at his reproof. He divideth the sea with his power, and by his understanding he smiteth through the proud. So by the Spirit of the Most High, he doeth these things. By his Spirit he hath garnished the heavens. His hand hath formed the crooked serpent. So the Lord has founded these things. and are all in the palm of his hand, and they cannot pass nor supersede their expected date. Right? Let me get on this real fast. For brothers that keep a watch, you had Charlie Clark gave up the ghost, man. The Lord took him out of the earth, right? This profane speaker, really for ravishing up people, disrespectful talk, right? His debates has given up the ghost. Right? Controversy activist Charlie Clark fatally shot in act of, right, political assassination at Utah, right, college. For brothers that don't know, that didn't see, it was a very, very vulgar video. Go on Twitter, man, and just type it in. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find it. I'm not going to show the video because they might, block, strike, and overthrow the channel, right? But nevertheless, he got shot directly in his neck. And it was very blood splat out, man. It was an execution style killing. And the Lord is touching the earth, man. Again, you have earthquakes in Greece. You have blood moons at a vast rate. The Lord is taking out these politics, all of these different men. The Lord is showing you secret conversations, right? How they're harvesting organs. What else are they doing? Whatever sacrifices are you doing in the dark? If y'all casually walking in the midst of people saying these wicked things, what are you saying behind closed doors? What counsel are you actually having? Let me get this quick precept. Counsel is deep, right? On a deeper level. Right, let me get this quick precept in the book of Isaiah chapter 8. This is Isaiah chapter 8, right? And I'm going to start at verse number 10. Take counsel together, and it shall come to naught. Speak the word, and it shall not stand, for God is with us. It don't matter your counsels that you take, what you say behind closed doors, man. It's all going to come to naught if it's not of the Most High. For the Lord spake, right, thus to me with a strong hand, and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, right? Let me get this quick precept in Isaiah. So again, counsel is deep, man, and lifting up yourself on the left-hand side, right? This is the mighty book of Isaiah, right? Chapter 10 and verse 13. For he saith, by the strength of my hand have I done it. Lived forever, created laws, came into power. This is the same spirit of Nebuchadnezzar, man, where the Lord had to drive him in the wilderness and understand that he is barren, naked, that he is nothing without the Most High God, man. Man, you're nothing without the Most High, man. You better humble yourself. And I'm going to come back to that precept. It just made me think of another precept of Daniel real fast. This is Daniel, right? Chapter, let's see what I want. Bear with me. 21, 2 and 21. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. There ain't nothing but a chessboard, man. The Most High is moving things around. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. Those are the times we're living in now, where the Most High's hand is showing this earth, man. And he's removing things, setting up things, because why? This is the end stage. You're not living in the seal where it was death and darkness, right? You're trying to figure out what's going on and you're scratching your neck, man. Let me get that quick precept in the book of Revelation. You're not living in a time of darkness, in the 7 days of silence in the book of Revelation. You have to be alive and watching, right? This is the book of Revelation chapter 6, right? And I'm going to start at verse number 5 real fast. And he had opened the third seal, and I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. You're not living in this day, man, where it's a black horse hitting the earth. A famine spiritually, right, of Israel, darkness in the valley of dry bones, coming out of the time of the Roman Empire, of the horse that went to and fro with bloodshed, right, to the time where the economic collapse happened. Western Roman Empire went down and all hell broke loose, and you went into a time of silence and death. It says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. We're not living in those days, man. The oil and the wine not being hurt, again, is the remnant of the 10%, or the elect being preserved in times of silence and death and spiritual famine hitting the earth. Now you're living in a time where this book is breathing. It's alive. The prophets are alive. It's not sealed, shut, right? It says, he revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him, man. And that's scary, that the Most High knows what's in the darkness, man. There are oceans inside of oceans when you go deeper down. There are unseen creatures that are in this earth that man hasn't laid eyes on, man, that could blow out fire and vapor. Newly created creatures the Most High has. You can read about in Wisdom of Solomon 11. Various other things that man has no grasp of how deep the Most High is and how you should fear him, man. Right? In these days that you're entering into, which are full of uproars of the people, violence, turmoil, right? It is really something to look forward to, but you can't be afraid. The Lord said, woe unto him that is fearful hearted, right? For he would not be defended. But let me go back to this. For he saith, by my strength of my hand have I done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent, and I have removed the bounds of the people, and I have robbed their treasures, and I have put down the inhabitant like a valiant man. So he says he moves the people. He says he's strong. He has all of this, man. Now, what this is going to do of the death of this devil is going to stir the the freedom of speech. Salakia. Now, Trump came out and he said that it's not going to be affected and that they're going to rise through this. And like I said, it's a lot going on, man. Trump just gave an hour speech, I believe a day ago, 2 days ago, something to that effect, where he addressed all of these, politics and different things that are going on. And you got to keep watch, right? That freedom of speech is not going to be shut down, but the agenda that they're forming again is in the night. You got to watch. When they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction. Says Elon Musk following the assassination of Charlie Kirk, if they won't leave us in peace, then our choice is fight or die. And this is going to create seditions and uproars, man. A rebellion against the government. And that's exactly what's going on. These people are rebelling against the government, man. Right? Now, if they did this to this devil, what do you think they're going to do, right, to the men of the Lord, man? You're not always going to be protected on those highways and byways. Not that the angels aren't with you. I can't speak for every man in this truth, but there are going to be some people that are going to be martyrs. They are going to be assassinated, whether execution style or whether kidnapped, right, and put into FEMA camps like you read about in Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, right? Or however they get to you, they will try to stop this word, man. Those are the days, again, we're living in. I'm going to get this real quick. Right? Salaki, bear with me. Now, this nation is divided, for brothers that don't know. Right? It just came out in their meeting in the Senate House, and they were all divided. Right? Look at this. Just then, House of Democrats refused to participate in a prayer after Republicans requested one following Charlie Kirk's assassination. So, in the Senate House, all hell was breaking loose at the U.S. Capitol. Right? Let's watch this video. This is what you call a nation divided.
What purpose does the gentlelady from Colorado rise?
See, I don't know if brothers can hear, but they're arguing in there. All hell breaking loose.
Let's wait a minute.
Now they cussing each other out. I don't know if you can hear that.
Let's wait a minute. Wait a minute. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The House will be in order.
See, they can't even control their own house.
We will join prayer right after this, okay?
Look at
What
that.
purpose is the gentlelady from Colorado?
Come on, house of order.
The House will be in order.
Lord said if a man don't know how to rule this house, he should take care of the church of God, man. That's spiritual to us. But if they can't even keep charge of their house, how can they run the nation? And again, this is just what we can see. How many people are ripping out their hair? How many conversations I had? America's finished, man. The Democrats are against the Republicans, uprisings and cussing, following the death of this devil. Trump's coming out passing a new law every single time he opens his eyes, man, from awakening out of sleep. Vladimir Putin, Jinping, and Kim Jong-un are all coming together talking about harvesting organs, man, and living forever. So, I mean, what else is going to happen tomorrow? Something's happening right now, man. As soon as the live after, we got to figure this thing out, go back to the breakdown, link it up through the precepts, and Lord willing, go live either tomorrow or the next day, man. So you got to keep watch. It's never a dull moment in this truth.
The House will be in order.
Look at it.
We will join prayer right after this, okay?
Right now, joining prayer to praise their God, man. The God of this world. It's filled with nothing but hypocrisy, right? There's no way their prayer is going to the Most High God, man. Let me get this real fast. All right, Salaki. All right, let me get this quick precept. Let's go to the mighty book of Jeremiah. Matter of fact, let's go to Ezekiel. Let's go to the mighty book of Ezekiel. All right, chapter 21. It's the mighty book of Ezekiel, chapter 21. And I'm going to start at verse number 10. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. So the Lord has, let me read verse 9. Son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord, say a sword is sharpened and also furbished, right? So the Lord said there is a sword bathed in heaven that's being sharpened as we speak, man, for destruction. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth, man? So for all you brothers that are double thinking this truth, head against the wall, all you sisters that are overly troubled and burdened with a lot of these situations you're going through, man, you got to cast off the weak nature and the burden of man, like it's saying second address, man, right? It's not really the time to be getting lost. Not that there's any time to be getting lost. Right, let me get this quick precept. Second address. Chapter 14. And I'm going to start right at verse number 10. Right? It says, for the world has lost its youth. And you could tell the world has lost its youth, man. You can see by everything being tracked down, the forests, them creating new roads. They're messing up the ecosystem. They're destroying and polluting the air with gas and fumes, freon and all type of distress going off and chemicals in the air, man. It says, and the times begin to wax old, man. Times are beginning to wax old. For the world is divided into 12 parts. So there are 12 parts the Lord has divided the earth in. And the 10th parts of it are gone already. And half of a 10th part. So the Lord's telling you by examination that the world is a clock and the time thereof, right? 12 parts, 10 parts, right, are gone already, and half of a 10th part. And there remaineth that which is Slakia, which is after the half of the 10th part. And that's the only thing that remains right now. Now, therefore, now this is the counsel of the Lord. You can say, well, this don't pertain to me. I'm not Ezra, right? This doesn't matter. Hey, brother, get on the so-called black woman. Hey, brother, where's the videos on Esau kissing the boot? Or when are we going to get the wine so we can go to the feast day? This is the commandment of the Lord and the counsel of the Heavenly Father in the times we living in. Now therefore set thine house in order, man. They go for you women, you men. It's really time to be about your business, man. Stop saying you're going to do something and don't do it. Stop procrastinating. Stop second guessing. Stop double thinking. Stop being double-minded. The Lord says set your house in order, man. And whoever don't want to be set in it got to get out of it, man. These are the days of Jacob, man, him cleansing his house. These are the days of Lot. He's not looking back, man. Set things in order. It says, and reprove thy people. Don't be afraid to get on people, man. Them that make mention of the Lord never hold their peace, man. If you make a mention of the Heavenly Father, you're not gonna be quiet. Nobody's gonna shut you down. Man, what the Lord say, man? Let me get this quick precept in the book of Proverbs. You can't stop a flaming fire, man. It's impossible. It's impossible, right? Let me get this quick precept, right? It's the mighty book, right, of Proverbs chapter 30. And I want to start at verse, so I can bear with me. Let me see. Bear with me. I'm looking right at it. I know I am. Proverbs 30 and 15. Let me get that quick precept. 30 and 15. Right, it's the book of Proverbs, chapter 30 and verse 15. It says, I'm going to start at 14. I'm going to start at 15. The horse leaf have two daughters, crying, give, give. So a leech bears children, which cry, give, give, meaning they want blood. And a leech, all it does is suck, and it devours like a tick. There are three things that are never satisfied. Yea, four things say not it is enough. So the Lord said, look, there are certain things on the earth, they never get satisfied. You make it satisfy your hunger. You may eat, go back for another plate. Then you go back for dessert. You're satisfied. You may satisfy the ground with watering it. You can overwater it, whatever the case may be. Certain things they've had enough. It said the grave. I mean, the people are always dying, right? Whether you're being put to death or giving up to ghosts. The barren womb. There are always babies dying in the womb, right? Premature births, right? It says the earth that is not filled with water. I mean, in all of the cycles of the floods and all of the rivers and all of the different streams and rivers, they all flow into the ocean. It's not full. And the fire that saith not, it is enough. So what does fire do? It gets stronger and stronger and more until it doesn't have enough, man. Let a fire just be set loose. You know who really stops the fire on a deeper level? The Most High. You can't say, well, the fire does have enough, brother. I don't know about that. Fire kind of kindles out on its own. No, it doesn't, man. The Most High had mercy on that land. Fire is used for judgment, man. And the Lord will burn a land, and it saith it is not enough. And on a deeper level too, when you put out a fire, the fire and smoke goes underground and continues to burn. That's why these fires, it's like these fighters, they have to, and I'm not, a firefighter, I don't know the technological terms, but they put stuff on the ground to seize the ground because fire is underneath the ground. It's always eating, it's always consuming, right? I don't know if I'll be able to find that. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Fire burns underground are known as ground fires, which can occur in peat, coal, organic, rich soils, and are often called, right, smothering fires, zombie fires. These fires are difficult to be extinguished, right, because they can smolder for years and are fueled by subsurface material, man. They could go for years. Here you are thinking this fire is put out, man. You're walking on the soil. You're laughing. You're drinking. Brothers having a nice, good old time. And here that fire is still burning. underneath the earth, man. There are volcanoes under the earth. I'm bringing this out to say through the Spirit, you have to be like the fire that says it's never enough, man. So when you reprove your people, when you set your house in order, when you do things according to the law, don't give no heed to Satan, man. Raise up your voice. Comfort such of them that be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Let go from the mortal thoughts. Mortal is of this life. It's not an immortal thought, man. That'll last forever. And then these cares, these bills, these tribulations are for the moment. They don't last forever, man. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee. Be the most vexingest thing, man. No matter what it is, set that aside and don't let that overtake you, man. Because like the Lord said, give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. A plague is something cleaving unto you that devours you. It's a plague, whether it be physical, right? Whether it be a disease, or whether it be a fungus, or whatever the case may be. Lord said, look, set that aside, man. Right? It says, and haste to thee to flee from these times. You got to flee from the times that are coming, man. Right? Flee from those times. For yet greater evils than those which thou shalt sing has happened, shall be done hereafter. Right? So you think you catch a hell, you really think you're going into it, you have no idea what's coming upon the earth. Right? Let me get this last closing precept. Right? Let's get this in the GNT. Let's get this in the GNT. And it reads, I'm going to start at verse number 1. Right? Revelation chapter 3 and verse 1 in the GNT. This is the message from the one who has the 7 spirits of God and the 7 stars. I know what you are doing. Right? And that's plain. The Most High knows. You can't fool the Most High, man. You can fool me, and brothers have fooled me before, man. You've been fooled before. You don't really know the inward intentions and thoughts of man. I know what you are doing. I know that you have the reputation of being alive, even though you are dead. So wake up, man. Now, a brother may say, well, you know, I'm fervent, I'm on fire. All praise to the Most High. That's good. But there's always something to work on, man. I'm constantly examining what I can work on. I mean, from time management, the things I want to discuss, to things that I don't even perceive that are there. It says, and strengthen what you still have before it dies completely, man. And that's mercy that the Most High even allows you that opportunity. For I find that what you have done is not yet perfect in the spirit of my God. Remember then what you were taught and what you heard, obey it and turn from your sins. For, Salakia, if you do not wake up, I will come upon you like a thief, and you will not even know the time when I will come. Right? So keep watch. Understand that, you know, these policies are being passed. These new world orders and governments and, you know, different things like that are brewing up. This thing is serious. This book is living. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit, they are life. Continue to keep watch. Girt over your mind and your spirit and your soul, that these demons don't break into your tabernacle and overtake you. But Most High willingness was edifying through the Spirit. I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach, Malak, Yahushua, Shalawam.